This next video we're going to build part 2. This is the screw that drives the whole clamp mechanism. So we'll start off again to the new part. Say OK. And we're going to go front plane again and sketch. Alright, now let's put in our lines here. I think in this case we only need the one line here. We'll rotate around this line. So then we can go in and we can start drawing. And you can see here that we're drawing in those little gaps. Draw to the end there. Push escape. All right. So that gives us this object here. Actually, let's go back in and we will connect this bottom line. So we actually have a shape. We'll be revolving this instead of mirroring it. Okay, so now we can go in and we can start adding in some of our dimensions. One of the first things we want to look at is our overall length. So we can smart dimension, we can just do our overall length here. Just do it from this face to this face. Drop down and that's going to be 155. All right. And so by doing that first, it kind of keeps everything, if you drew stuff to roughly proportional shape, it shifts everything close to correct. All right. So our next length here is going to be this length here, and this will be 20. So we can go from here to here, make this 20. We can say that this length right here is going to be 51.54. And then this length right here in the middle is going to be 20. All right, now we can do a few things here. We can actually go in and we can adjust some of these measurements here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick this line here and we're going to push shift and pick this line here. You want to make sure you don't click on the center point. And you can see it already has an association with it right here, that they're already on the horizontal, but we also want to make them equal. So now their lengths are going to be equal, okay? We can say okay. And then we can go in and we can say same thing. We'll do this length here and shift and this length here, and we'll make them equal as well. And we'll say okay. All right, now if we go into smart dimensions, we can see there that the gap there is going to be 2. So we'll pull up here. We'll say this is equal to 2. And you can see that those both shrunk there. And then we will have to look and see what our width of the, or our depth of those gaps are. Now if we look at the drawing, it doesn't actually show us the depth of those. So let's go ahead and we'll make that depth is equal to 2. All right. It's nice if the drawing will actually show you what is the true depth on that, but that's fine. All right, so that dropped this level down here, right? And so to adjust for that, let's go in. We'll click this line here, push this line and this line, and we'll say that they're all collinear to each other. There we go. That brings that all up the same again. And then we can look at some of our measurements again, and we can see that our overall diameter of the head of this bolt is going to be 32. So half of that is going to be 16. So we can go in, we'll say okay, we'll go back to our smart dimensions. We'll say this is going to be 16. And then we can go in here and we see that it's an M18, so this is going to be 9. And that gives us a fully defined drawing of our bolt. And we say okay. And then what we want to do is we want to go to features, and well, there's two things we could do here. We could either chamfer this as a feature, or we can chamfer it right now. I think we'll chamfer it once it's a 3D object. So let's go in, we'll do our revolve boss base. It's already picking that it's going to revolve around that line, and we say okay. Now we can see we've got most of this drawn already. Okay, so let's go in and do our chamfering. So we have three chamfers on here. Two of them are equal to each other. The one up here on the head of the bolt is going to be a 45-degree chamfer, and it's going to be a 3mm chamfer. So that's 3 millimeters from the corner over and from the corner down. So if we go up here to our tool, we click the drop down and go chamfer. We can change this value to 3. And we can go in and we can pick this line, and we can go in and we can pick this line here. And you can see that it defaults to 45 degrees, which is fine because that's what we want. And then we say okay. And that gives us the head to the screw, and then we can go in and we can pick our chamfer tool again. We'll pick the front face here, and we want to change this one. You can see that it's a chamfer 2x45, so we want to change this to a 2mm and say okay. All right, and that gives us our correct chamfering. And then the final step for this is we're going to put in our threads here, and these will just be kind of a cosmetic thread. All right, so we're going to add in our cosmetic thread right now. And it's just going to make it look like this is threaded here. So we want to go down and we want to say insert, and we want to go down to annotations and cosmetic thread. There we go. And this is going to open up this setting here. Now we're going to pick a circular edge for the threads to start on. So we're going to pick this edge right here. And we're going to say that it is an ISO. So you'll have a drop down here. Make sure you pick ISO, and then you want to say M18 because that is an M18 through screw. And then we can just do up to next, which will be up to this line right here. And we should be able to just say okay. And you see that it doesn't show anything here. So now we can go in and we can go to our options and we can make it so it shows cosmetic threads. All right, and to do that, we need to actually go into our document settings. So we'll go here, we'll say go to options, go to document properties, and we will go to detailing. And we want to click this box here that says shaded cosmetic thread. We say okay, go okay, and now you can see that that threading is now included in here. Now the final thing we need to do is we need to drill a hole in through here. You can see that on the drawing. So if we go to our front plane again, and we do a sketch on our front plane, we can put in a center line, runs down. Didn't need to be that long, but it works. And then we're going to go to our hole tool here, our circle tool. I'm going to draw a circle. We're going to go to Smart Dimensions, and you can see here on the circle that it is a 6mm hole. So make that a 6, and then it is 10 in from the end. So we can grab this point here and this face, pull up, and we'll make that a 10. You see at this point in time it's fully defined, so we say okay, and then we can go to our features. And we're going to say extruded, it will say extruded cut. And we want to make through all both. And if we tip over, you see that that cuts through both sides. Say okay. And now we have a hole through both sides. And this is our finished part number 2. Let's go up and give it that nice purple color that we see in the drawing. So we will call it this color. And we will say okay. That just made our inside hole purple. We will go through and select the whole thing and go and make the whole thing purple. There we go. and say OK. And now we have our finished screw done. So we'll save this as part number 2 and continue on in the next video.